All right, guys, this episode is brought to you by Major Beauty. Your girl is about to hook you up because y'all know how I do my lashes all the time. And Major Beauty is going to offer $20 off your initial full set of lashes. And the first 6 months, you can also use this promo code HERR20 and you can get $20 off your membership because she does offer membership services. So she not only does eyelashes, she also does permanent makeup, those new henna eyebrows. If you're not ready to go full force on the tattooing of the eyebrows, you can try them out by getting this henna stuff done. I haven't tried it because y'all know I got microbladed eyebrows, but I do use Kiana for my lashes. She is my new lash tech. I'm loving her. She's great and she's super duper professional and you're going to love her little studio. So check her out, The Major Beauty. Make sure you use promo code HERR20 to get a discount off your full set and your membership for the next 6 months, guys. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Her Lounge podcast. We are back from birthday weekend. Yo, I really enjoyed this birthday. Well, I didn't have my husband, so that's what sucked about it. But
also kind of.
But other than that, I really had a good time. My grandmother is rotated between my 3 aunts. Like they take turns taking care of her. 1 week, someone has her. And I texted my Aunt Lily, the one that lives on your side of town. And I was like, man, I hope she has her so that I wanted to take the girls to the pumpkin patch, which I had never been to this one. If you guys haven't taken the twins, Penny would love to go back. This one's in Alvin.
Okay.
We usually do Dewberry Farm in Katy or past Katy or whatever. And I wanted to try a different one. So they get to pick flowers here, which is pretty cool. They get to cut them. They even have kid scissors for the kids. She got to pick fun sunflowers. It's not strawberry season, but otherwise you can go pick your own strawberries there. And then you buy them. They sell also because it's a farm. So they sell stuff that you can buy from them as well. They are just as high as a grocery store though. But I get it. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
supporting local though.
Exactly. Yeah. That's kind of how I felt. So it was really nice. My grandmother got to come. I spent it with my aunt, my uncle, my cousin, and my sister. Bro, this camera, I needed to come with me everywhere so I can look like this all the time.
You look fantastic.
My gosh, look at my face, bro. What Botox do I need to get on this camera?
I'm telling you. See, no, it's not just the camera. The Botox is nothing. Let's see with the blur real quick. We'll add the blur.
Wow. Y'all, if y'all are not watching this YouTube, y'all need to because I don't look like this all the time. I do not look like this. It's this camera.
Yeah, you see how Chingo's face back there's a little blurred out now?
Yes, look at this camera. We need this camera for when we get in my room.
Yeah, it's the best budget. Chingo just asked me for the link to it.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was really nice. And then
how was the weather?
It was hot, but there's so many trees in this farm area.
Shaded.
So it felt good. Obviously, when you're picking flowers, there's no shade. But it was nice. We went on this little they called it the bee ride, which was for little kids. You know something? Thankfully, I'm small. But had I been probably just a little bit bigger, maybe had not lost the 9.4 pounds.
every point of pound helps.
I don't know that I would have fit in this little seat. And I felt so sad for this little girl riding in front of us because her mom was really trying to make it happen, but she was just a bigger lady. And you can tell she was embarrassed. So I just kind of looked away so she wouldn't feel embarrassed, you know? And I just said, hey, my daughter can ride with her if you want. You know, she was like, no, that's okay. She's got it. I was like, all right.
How old was she?
She was like Penny's age. She was they're about the same age.
But the mom was too big.
Yes, the mom was too big.
It'd be worse if the kid was too big.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, but it was the mom, thank God. So we did that and we went out to eat afterwards to this place I'd never been. Oh, wait, we were going to go to this place. We decided to go to Chili's. I hadn't been to Chili's in years.
Bro, it's been 10 years.
At least for me. That's how long it's been since I've been to a Chili's. I didn't even know there were still any open.
I know, right? How was it?
It was Chili's.
Was it where you remember 10 years ago when you were getting crunk before the club?
I'm just like...
Or after?
Chili's. So, yeah.
Real quick, those Celsius drinks are really underrated.
They really are.
Especially the ones with the black lids, because they're the carbonated ones. The silver lids are not carbonated. No good.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I always get black. I never even knew there was another color.
Yep. It's for the people that don't like carbonation.
Well, these are really good. So anyway, yeah, so it was good. We ended up going to eat afterwards, and then Pete, I didn't know he changed his flight, so he came home super early the next day. He wasn't supposed to be back till almost 3. And so we were going to have dinner, and then my sister's like, hey, so I'm coming over. I'm like, oh, why so early? Like, I thought Pete wasn't, and he was like, no. So we took the girl, he got here early, he got home by 11. We took the girls to the park. So we were together. And then afterwards, my mom and my sister came over. We had dinner. My sister gave me that bag for my birthday, which I absolutely love. Guys, there's this Lululemon bag. I really don't care for Lululemon like backpacks or anything like that, even though they're cool. I just kind of always feel like, I can get a backpack anywhere. It doesn't have to be like, I found the Lululemon dupe for their pouch that everybody is raving about, their little fanny pack.
I need a fanny pack right now.
Okay, so I'll show you the dupe.
Okay.
All right. It's just like it's $12.99 right now on Amazon. So yeah, I'm ordering it in the pink or like this grayish, pink and black.
Send me your associate link. I know you have one.
For sure. You know it. So I'll send it to you. But
do we have that on your website? We need a Marisol shopping list, our shopping section.
We do. I need to add that on there because I don't. We need it on the website so I can just tell people they can see it. So it was really nice. I just really had really nice. But the night before wasn't that nice.
Friday.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know why I had this dream. I pretty much died in my dream.
Oof. Had a couple of those recently.
I was driving and I guess I wasn't paying attention because I remember in my dream I looked at my phone and the phone made me go off the cliff, but we were in a box. It was really weird. And then I kept thinking, this is how you know you're stressed out about work, okay? I kept thinking like, shit, who's going to finish all the stuff that was left undone? Somebody needs to find me. That we need to be found.
That's the reason you wanted to be found?
Like, we need to be found. Oh my God, we can't die in here, And I had my girls with me and my best friend Rania was also with me, She's one of my really good friends. And so, anyway, out of nowhere, like we get found and I'm in the hospital and I see myself dead, bro. Like I'm on the hospital bed and I've got all these wires and I just hear the doctor say, y'all need to start telling people goodbye. Like start texting whoever you need to text. And I just remember texting like my mom. I don't know. I was just like, I knew I was texting family. But then I text my girlfriend Rania and I said, that's who was in my dream. I said, I'm so sorry that I was careless and I killed us. I'm like, I can't believe I did this. I'm the most careful person. I'm always like, I don't like to talk. I even tell you like, sorry, I'm texting you, but I'm driving. So I don't want to text, or I'll do the voice messages. Like when I'm driving, I really, especially if the girl's on the car, if I'm by myself, I'm a little bit more lenient because I'm like,
Oh, you call. You said
I'll
you text.
call.
Yeah, you call and say, Marisol was like, hey, sorry, I'm calling you. I'm like, no, but don't be sorry.
Yeah, I'm
calling.
like, sorry, I'm calling you, but I'm driving. So, and she said, actually, I think it's pretty fucking cool that I had a heads up that I'm dying versus dying and not knowing. And I was like, no. Who wants a heads up? Right?
That's a forever question, though. Like, that's always a good question to ask somebody.
Okay. So then I wake up, bro, and it's a dream. And then I'm just like, I literally just get up. I get on my knees and I just like, thank God for another day because now it's my birthday. I usually pray. I always thank God that, I always pray in the morning. The first thing I say when I wake up always is, thank you, God, for another day. I don't have like this whole big prayer, but I always say, thank you, God, for another day, for allowing my entire family to wake up. As we start our day, I ask that you guide us. And that's it. It's real simple in the morning when I wake up. But that morning, I woke up and I was like, thank you for another year. Thank you for this just being a dream, protect my family, it was like a whole, like the way I pray before I go to bed, I did it that morning. It was the ugliest dream ever, like the ugliest dream ever. For starters, that's my biggest fear is dying now that I have children because I worry for them, right? Mm-hmm. If I didn't have no kids, I don't know that I really would be this stressed out about it, right? So it was just like that. So anyway, my sister texted me to wish me happy birthday. I was like, I just had that worst dream. So she's into dreams and what they mean, and she keeps a journal of like dreams and stuff. So she's really big on those things.
Your sister
right?
and my sister need to hang out.
Yeah,
Jesus
she's big
Christ,
on that too.
Huge.
Okay, so it's my sister. And so she's like, oh, don't worry about it. She's like, you're going to live long. But it does say that these types of dreams happen when you have, 1, lack of sleep, and 2, you're stressed out. Geez, 2 of the things. Okay, well, then that answered what my dream was about.
We should look back on the last 12 months. You've been in the hospital a few times.
Yeah.
You've had self-induced panic attacks.
So it's funny. I was like, that's so crazy. Is it? Because that's exactly how I feel. Because Friday, was it Friday? Yes, Friday. I said, I'm not leaving. Like, if there's anything I'm accomplishing today, I'm going to finish the merch room. And I finished it, bro. You got to go back there now.
Oh, Dawn even told me, she's like, hey, the room looks great. And I was like, oh, I just saw it. It's still...
No, you got to go in there. I fucking hooked it up now. So there is a little bit of like miscellaneous trash in the middle that I need to go through, but it is fixed up. Everything is done. I just need to transfer over the computer, the desk, and the setup so that now, legit, it would be worked out of there.
Nice.
If I can find someone that'd be willing to have like a full-time job the way Dawn does, and they just would... Oh, that sounded like I said Donda, like
Donda, like Yee?
Like Ye's store. School. Anyway, that would be willing to work like what she charges me. The merch and podcast would be
taken care of. Who did you say you were going to get somebody for? One of your relatives, right? A cousin?
My little cousin, but I don't want to take away. His parents already they don't mind him having a job, so I just hope that. I don't want him to feel like I got to go to work.
Oh, right.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I want to talk to him, and I want to talk to my aunt too about it. Make sure they don't feel like, well, it's interfering. So he's a freshman. He was going to lease this house from us, him and his friends, before we decided to turn it into Peer Space. But then my aunt just kind of felt like, y'all need to have some kind of rules. So y'all should probably live on campus the first year before you live out on your own. So
probably a good idea, honestly.
So they live on campus now. So she was just saying, like, I don't think he's ready to. She's like, he thinks miraculously some food is going to just pop up cooked. Like, who's going to cook for you? She's like, I don't think they're ready for that. So she's like, but I think maybe once they're there for an entire year, we might revisit that and then let me know if it's available. I'm like, I'll let you know, because I don't know that it's going to be available anymore, because she said no. So I decided to go ahead and go with Peer Space, you know? So. But yeah, so that was it. So great birthday. I love the way I went into 41. The most simple way I've ever celebrated, to be honest with you.
It's great.
I mean, it was fantastic. The right amount of people, just the people who I wanted to be with to begin with. Being able to celebrate with my grandma was the best thing ever. That's really who I wanted there. If anybody, my kids and my husband, obviously, but I wanted really her to be there.
How old is she now?
My grandma is now, did she turn 86 or 85? She's up there. But they took her to a concert yesterday, bro, to see Los Angeles Azules. I think they were out in
I think they were
Sugarland,
at the Smart Venture Center. Yeah.
Bro, when they said, my aunt sent us a video and they said, todos con las manos arriba. And my grandma's like this on her wheelchair. Woo! Like just living it up. I was like, oh my God, look at her. Just having a good old little time. So it made me happy to see her doing all that. So it was kind of cool. But here's the crazy thing. You know how we always talk about, you know how you're like, I was late today, guys. If you notice my shoulders are red and burnt, it's probably because I was outside.
Wow, you burn easy?
I don't burn easy, but I feel like I look darker.
You look tan for sure.
Check, yeah. I was out there doing the garage this morning. I woke up ready to get organized. I was like, I got to get it together these next 2 weeks. The tour's about to be done. So I want for us to be working by the time the tour is done, like everything's running. So anyway, last night I see this thing on Netflix. If you haven't watched it, let me tell you what it's about. You know, we always talk about trauma, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm going to read the quote now of the day because I haven't read it. And it goes like this. To get over the past, you first have to accept that the past is over. Okay? No matter how many times you revisit, analyze it, regret it, or sweat it, it's over. It can hurt you no more. A show called The Human Playground. Have you checked it out?
No, I haven't heard of it.
Very interesting. It is about people who experience serious trauma, right? One girl was hit by a car, leg was amputated, and so now she was on a mission. I didn't even know things like this existed, Rob. Did you know there's almost like a marathon type thing, but in the Sahara Desert, where you run for days, and only out of 1,000 that get accepted, only 40 make it, bro?
I knew something like that, but I don't know what it's called.
I didn't know that there was even such a thing. It was trippy. So at night when they camp, right, because they sleep, right? So at night when they camp, they announce like, hey, so-and-so died. They had a heart attack and they didn't make it. And everybody's sad, right? And it's like, but everybody wakes up the next day and it's like, oh, I got to finish this marathon. You know, I got to keep going. Right? This is where I don't get it. So then they're being interviewed and they're talking. This girl has a prosthetic, and so she's running, right? And she's like doing it, man, to where you're like kind of like, I'm like, yes. At first, when I'm watching her do this, I'm like, yes. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is what I needed to watch as I start the week. Like, I'm going to conquer it. I'm going to take it over. And then she starts to cramp. She's like, oh my God. And the cameras are following her, right? And so she's like laying on the floor. She's got this like cramp in her stomach. And now, I don't know if they didn't ever show that part. I don't know what happened. She's screaming. She's like, take it off. I think she wanted her prosthetic to come off. I think maybe it was like scraping too much. I don't know, after so long. And she was crying. They finally get help for her. I guess she didn't make it, right? That's where her journey ended. She didn't die, but you know. And then when they kind of gave her, I guess, electrolytes and everything you need back in your body, because their gear is pretty interesting, because it's like these 2 water bottles that come out of here, and the straws are literally right here, so that you could either go this way or this way, but you're not having to go like this.
Right.
I don't know if it has to do something with the way that you're kind of like hiking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's
mechanics.
Yeah, exactly. Their backpack is literally with the minimal amount of things that you can think of. So I wondered to myself, like, where do they poop? Like, do you dig a hole? What if you get your period while you're on your way and you don't carry that shit?
Keep going.
Oof. Can you imagine? Like, there's nowhere to bathe.
YOLO. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's like runners. I mean, they shit themselves.
Yeah,
they
I've seen that. When I first did that, I was like, there's no way that's going to happen to me, bro. That's disgusting. You'd see underwear on the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Awful. Socks, dirty socks. It's just the grossest thing ever.
Anytime I hear somebody, and you know, I'm not to be mean about it, I almost don't even want to switch cameras. It looks so different from the other one. God damn it. But no. When we see people with one legs, one arms, and they're doing these crazy feats of strength, like, you know, cleaning and jerking like 205, and they have one arm, right, or one leg, all my brain goes to is, you're mechanics. You're compensating. You already have one arm or no legs or something. Your spine's gonna be, you know, torqued and tweaked if you just keep doing. Oh, I can lift one bar with 205 over my head. I have one arm. That's great and all, but let's try to like improve our quality of life as we get older, right? You already have missing limbs. Don't get me wrong, it's impressive, but also, like, why would you do that?
So we're about to talk about this.
Okay.
Because, so this is how this lady deals with her pain of her leg gone missing, because now her dream was to be in the military. Her dream was to be able to run marathons. She's always kind of been a runner. And she felt like that was taken away from her. And so how she gets over this pain, which is the reason why I had this quote for today, how she gets over the past is by enduring pain, which I thought was very interesting for a way to get over something. Because you would think if you felt pain and you're going through pain, you would think that you wouldn't put yourself through that. Because I know I wouldn't.
Sometimes
as a starter as it is, like, for me, it's like, once some shit happened, it's like I was talking to Marissa on Friday, I think it was. Yeah. Cause I I just kind of felt like, this is enough. Get out of your rut, man. What is happening with you? Like, you're about to be 41. And I was telling her that ever since the pandemic, Rob, I seriously I feel like, okay, I talk to myself, I'm going to get it. I got it. Like, it's going to get done. I'm not letting this interfere with, but it's like little shit happens. And then it's like this, and it's like, it's never gone back to before pre-pandemic, right? For me. And so I just kind of told myself, like, this can't, like, I think that part of the reason why you're stressed and all that is because you keep thinking like, well, yeah, before the pandemic, I had it together. Okay, well, bitch, it's over. Like, you know what I'm saying? I literally had a pep talk myself. I was on the phone with Marissa. We were kind of both talking about like what we were kind of dealing with. And I was just telling her, I was like, I can't anymore. That's why that day I came in, I was like, I am finishing the merch room. It's got to get done. We've got to be organized. You got to come in and say this, and that, and it's a go, right? The easier, systems, right? You place them and then it's easy. It's going to be a smoother ride. So I just said that the next 2.5 weeks before we head out again, it is getting everything set and ready to go so that things can start going, and I can stop allowing this past, like we just talked about in the quote, continue to, make me mad about it, right? But you would think that mad would put a little bit of a pep in your stomach, like, fuck this, what happened? I'm moving on. So as I continue to watch this, it gets even crazier, bro. Like people go, so this one girl was sexually harassed, right? And how she dealt with her pain was she goes and she meditates in the Netherlands. I think it's where she was. It's freezing cold, bro. She cuts a triangle on the floor, like on the frozen ground.
Yeah.
The last time she attempted to go diving in there, she passed out and almost didn't make it. So she was doing it again. And literally the narrator is saying like she's not even under the water for more than a minute. But as a bystander, it feels like she's been under there for a really long time. I don't really know how they got the cameras under there, but I was thought to myself, who was in charge in having to place these cameras on her, and how were they able to get such good shots of her? That's what I was thinking. You know what I'm saying?
As
I was
thinking, creator, how the fuck they pull that off?
Exactly. So I was like, oh my God. So she dives in there, Rob, and they have her under face up, and she's touching the frozen glass, and she's just kind of going. I was like, hey, I was getting anxiety. I was like, my butt was my cheeks were squeezed. I was like, can you just hurry up and complete whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish and get out? It was making me nervous for her. And she got out and she was shaking uncontrollably. I mean, she made it. She's got to warm up immediately after getting out. Cause I guess if you don't, I guess that's where you pass out and all the shit can happen. So she was dealing with her pain to get over this by going underwater in this freezing temperature, and she dove in there, and that's how she dealt with her pain to get over. So all of these are ways that they're dangerous, playgrounds, right? But they're sports. And as they're narrating, it's very true. So we are fucking sick humans. Mm-hmm. We are, because we get pleasure out of watching someone lose, right? So just for example, baseball or basketball or football, right? You're cheering for your team, but if you think about the concept of it, right? It's a challenge. So let's just go to football. They're smashing each other, right? Concussions can happen. All kind of shit can happen, but we're cheering it on, right? Because we want our team to win, and we thrive or we applaud when our team won, and we're so happy the other team lost.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Think mixed martial arts. You're literally hoping for a knockout.
Exactly. And so we've been doing this since Game of Thrones type of.
Yeah. Before that, tribes,
exactly.
Tribes. We're very tribal.
So now we're going to go to Ethiopia, bro. Now these are legit tribes where the men still walk around naked with their dong just hanging out. And the women are just kind of have a little thing over them, but not really.
Some
it's
pasties.
not really. They're just it's just a tribe out there. So how they do it is they actually fight with sticks, these spears type of thing. And it's but there's no killing, but there is you're going to get hurt. It's almost like a fighting, right? Yeah. You're going to get hurt. And then afterwards, each tribe, because they're coming from different tribes they still whoever wins, they still celebrate. There's no malice. There's nothing mean about it. Mm-hmm. It's just this is what we do. It's how we have fun. It's how
competition.
It's competitions, how we entertain ourselves. And afterwards they're dancing, and they're trying to whoever got hurt, they're trying to whoever their nurses are back there. But how they gain girlfriends, is these girls watch them, see who win. But before they can do this, they have to drink cow's blood, bro.
Oh, fuck.
And he's just drinking it like it's going out of style. And I'm just like, the whole time. So anyways, but the girls, right, to show pain also, to show that they're just as brave as the men by competing with each other, right? They get what they consider makeup, but it's really, they're getting cut with razors. It's almost like a tattoo. And they're getting these really pretty designs on them, right? And that's their permanent makeup. And then the prettier it is, that's like what makes you prettier. But their boobs are really small. You know what I'm saying? They're like super thin. The guys are really thin. And I was just like, has anybody's stuff been cut off just by accident from hitting the sticks, right?
If you've thought of it, it's probably happened.
You know, because I just kind of like thought that was crazy. But, and then they talked about like, you know, that's just kind of how they do things. You know what I'm saying? That's how they get a thrill and get entertained. And, you know, that's totally normal for them.
What's the show called again? Human Playground?
Human Playground. I
got to check it out.
You have to. It's really interesting. I guess what caught my attention was, you know, everybody's like, my sister and I were talking about like, it's okay to go to therapy. I said, absolutely. I said, I don't think there's anything wrong with going to therapy. I said, it also has to be the way you cope with it. If therapy is what you found is good for you, then that's what you need to do. For me, talking to someone would not do good for me, because for me, I'm thinking about you the whole time. So while I'm telling him like, well, fuck is your story, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, how did you become a therapist? What trauma did you have in your life that now you feel you went to school long enough to now tell me how I should handle my trauma? Do you see what I'm saying? So I feel like in order for me to feel comfortable with someone to talk to you like that, I'm easier if I call you to tell you like, you're not my therapist, but you're going to hear me out, and you're probably, I feel, are going to give me a more reasonable response. Like, you're not going to tell me, well, what did your dad think about that? What happened to your dad that you feel now that influenced you? Well, yeah, okay. I don't know what my dad's trauma was or my mom's trauma was. I'm trying to deal with it with me right now. So, ma'am, going back to my history, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it is a necessary part of it, though.
Yeah, but I don't know. So if I don't even know what my parents went through, I don't know, ma'am. Like, you see what I'm saying? So for me, therapy would not be that. Therapy for me would be, like I said, talking to my friend who's going to listen to me and probably not say anything and is going to be honest, versus that's why I know who I can tell stuff to. And I know that I'm not going to get like, it's going to be okay, don't worry about it. I like for you to just say, that's what's up. But you know what? It's partially your fault because XYZ. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, they're right. It's partially my fault because XYZ did happen. And so I caused XYZ to happen. So of course this is going to be the result. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I need like that. I can't have somebody like sit there and want to go back and then we're going to talk about the future and what we're going to do for the next couple of times. It's like, no. Like I can't. Like for me, that doesn't work. But like I was telling my sister, like for me, jogging, right, is also a way for me to like literally like I just kind of like think about everything. And for some reason, even though I hate cardio, I hate running. I'm not a runner. Okay. Which is the reason why for me doing like the half marathon, all those things were great for me because it's distance. I can't do none of this like relay race shit where I'm just like, okay, here you go.
You don't like relay races?
I just can't. Like it just boom, hurry up and go. Just like for me, it's like it's almost like anxiety for me. Like, oh shit, okay, hold on.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Train for the pressure.
Yeah, so it's kind of like
imagine a relay race. So you, Marissa, your sister, all right, a 3-on-3. We pick 3 fucking patrons or 3 fans, whatever. We do a relay race. You have to. It's kill or be killed.
Oh my gosh.
All right, if you don't finish this relay race and hand off the baton the way that they do, it's over. You lose a leg. I don't know. You lose you can't walk.
I did a relay marathon.
A relay marathon.
So it's 2 people, you run half, the other person runs half. But that pressure was also because the person who was my partner, so we were raising money for an orphanage in Colombia when I did that one. And
Ay, hermana.
I was really into running for a minute. I'm telling you, I get into these things. Like right now, after I did the bodybuilding, I felt like it was off my bucket list. So I felt like I didn't care anymore. I loved the bodybuilding world. But it was like, I did it already. So what's next? So I literally was on this search for like, what was next I was going to do. And then I was like, I think I want to do one of those bike races.
Pickleball, bro. We need to play pickleball.
I've never even played that before.
Do you know what it is? What?
No.
Okay, explain it to Chingo. He was like, we got to do this. That was 6 months ago. We still haven't done it. But
Okay.
before I get to that, so have you answered the questions that Dawn sent for the newsletter?
No. Where are the questions?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if she emailed you or she was expecting responses. It doesn't matter. You don't have to do it right now. But
Okay.
I'm just going to, I tested it out. We were testing out how it worked, the function.
Okay.
So I submitted my question. And I don't know if she was going to give it to you as if like somebody else asked it, but I just want to go ahead and ask you now because we're talking about it. All right. Don't have to look for it now. It's okay. All right. So my question was, would you rather... Okay, here's the question, Marisol. I think I phrased it like, Marisol, would you rather live forever or live until 60, but you looked like DLB the whole time?
Live forever.
All right, I thought it would take you longer. Let's just pretend you don't have kids. You don't have anything like you don't have your current life. It's just Marisol. She's born, and then as she grows up, she like let's say in like middle school, you start working out and stuff, and by high school, you look like DLB until for the rest of your life until you're 60, but then you die, or you live forever as just a regular person.
I think I like to live forever just because I think it's kind of cool to see like, I really think it's cool. My sister and I were talking again about this because I turned 41. I was like, I've seen quite a bit because we were talking about the 80s and the 90s. And we were talking about, because I've been showing, do you know who Pippi Longstocking is?
I remember the name.
Okay, so I was showing...
Redhead?
Yeah. I was showing Pippi Longstocking because it was one of my favorite movies. You have to remember... Growing up, any of the stuff that I saw was things like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I grew up watching Hispanic things. So I grew up watching El Chavo del Ocho. I grew up watching those kind of sitcoms because that's what we watched at home. So when movies like this were introduced to me at school, I was like, whoa, because I never saw anything on the Spanish channel that was so much imagination. Does that make sense? These are my favorite movies. The Wizard of Oz. What do they all have in common? It's like this fake world, this imagination, the dress up, right? And then Alice in Wonderland is another one of my favorites. That's the reason why Penny had her first birthday party was Penny in Wonderland. Get it? Because she was turning 1, and so she, Alice in Wonderland is my jam too. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is my jam too because it's so it's so outrageous, but so cool if you think about it. So Pippi Longstocking was also the same way for me because she, met the pirates and, she could spin and she could fly. A lot of these things were just not real. You could never be the top of the helicopter, I guess the propellers. The propellers, right? Yeah. But she did, and she'd hold her hands out and spin and she'd be the, you see what I'm saying? It's like little things like that. Penny has a big imagination. So I love that. And I relate to her in that sense because that's how I was as a kid. I mean, I could watch, she'll watch something and want to then act it out. That's kind of how I was as a kid as well. And so I was kind of always directing my friends, like, let's pretend. And they didn't get it. And I didn't get why they didn't get it because I thought it was so cool, but they didn't think it was just as cool. Does that make sense? So when Penny wants to pretend, I 100% encourage it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm all like, okay, I'll do it, and we do it. So I was showing her and I was just kind of talking to her how crazy it is that it's pretty cool that I've witnessed different like eras. I've witnessed the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, right? And now where we are, where it's unbelievable, where I never thought in a million years I would have a reality TV star as one of my presidents. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, things like that just don't make sense. I never thought that what was taboo is now completely normal, meaning like you heard of someone being like a transvestite, right? Which was a male dressing as a female for the purpose of maybe entertainment. Now they're called drag queens, which I guess I'm not really still sure what the difference between a transvestite and a drag queen is. I don't know if a transvestite always dresses like a woman and a drag queen is only for shows.
I think a transvestite they may or may not have a complete, cut it off kind of thing, whereas a drag queen typically doesn't.
Yeah. They're tuckers.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure, but I was just telling her, isn't it crazy? Like so for me, it's cool to be able to see these different changes. And the reason I say I'd like to live forever is because I'd love to see where this this is going to continue.
I hate to break it to you, it doesn't get any better. I think we've lived through a peak of humanity.
No, I know it's not. That's why I can't wait to see like this whole metaverse thing when it really kicks off, because it hasn't kicked off, right? Because we haven't really kind of people still are learning how to use phones. You know what I'm saying? Like all the cool features it has. Like, let me just tell you something. My Tahoe, I used to always be like, damn, my Honda has a controller on the steering wheel for my radio. I can't believe this Tahoe is newer and it has no thing to manage my radio from the from the steering wheel versus like having to punch the screen, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, this is really dumb.
Isn't it behind the wheel?
I didn't know that.
But that's because I'm a fucking car guy. I know all those little tweaks and ins and outs.
So I just discovered it. I accidentally pressed a button back there. I was at a stop sign and I said, I wonder what this does. No one was behind me and I figured I had my foot on the brake and I was like, wonder what this does. And then it skips the song. I was like, my brain just exploded.
Oh my God, dude. That is so funny.
I was this many days old when I discovered that my car is able to be like the radio is able to be controlled from my steering wheel. So how about that?
I remember my first post 2010 car. It's probably the last time or when they first started doing that. That's hilarious. It's like when we were out of town one time, Waco, I forgot, maybe somewhere around there. And I was pulling a car around and loading it up with stuff, merch and whatever after a show. And we all got out, we were chatting behind the club and all right, it's time to go. Let's go get, some food or whatever. And I turned the car. At the time, you guys had the Infinity. And myself was like, who's in the car? And I was like, no, just remote started it. She's like, we have remote start? I was like, yeah. And I told her, showed her how to turn it off, turn it back on. She's like, I never knew that. Like,
we were in McAllen.
That's what it was. Yeah.
I did not know that. I was like, what? How did you start my car? I was like,
you're so funny.
I really love my Honda, as you can see.
Yeah.
Like, I would rather drive my Honda anytime. Like, Pizza was like, want to take the Tahoe? Nope. Can I just have a Honda keys, please?
I mean,
I don't know why.
The size. It's a good size, not too big. It's fuel efficient.
Perfect.
It's always going to turn on, despite all the lights on the dash. It's still going to always turn on.
Don't ask me how that happened. My Honda was so well taken care of until my husband started driving it.
This was yours, right? Before
this was my it's always been my. And it's funny, I've never been into cars, right? So like my girlfriends always made fun of me for driving like the most simplest cars, right? Like I guess I dressed well, right? Like name brand. And then here I'm just driving like a little Mitsubishi Eclipse, or like I was driving like, I had a Jeep before that. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like I never had, my fear was always this, right? Because I had a job and I also went to school. So I always had to make sure there was money,
Sure.
So I always thought to myself, okay, my car note has to be to where if I had to go get a job like at a Target, a Walmart, or whatever, I can afford my car note. You see what I'm saying? So I always had a budget. Like I never paid more than $400 for a car note,
That's good.
And so I like always kept it below 400 or at 400. Anything that became over 400. I think my Eclipse was 420, and literally it did something to me to where I would put extra $20 aside every month. Mm-hmm. Just to make sure like it went over my little budget. You see what I'm saying? It was the weirdest thing,
What year Eclipse did you have? Do you remember?
2002.
Okay.
I think.
So it was after I was actually looking at mid-90s ones because I love the one from the first Fast and the Furious.
Oh, no. These are like the newer ones that came out. Yeah. Gotcha. So like my girlfriend's, I think my girlfriend Branya was the only one too that had like some kind of little sports car that she drove forever, but her dad came and bought it for her cash. So it was like she didn't kind of have a choice, but I never drove anything fancy. Like I never drove like my girlfriend, because she lived at home. She always drove like either a BMW or Mercedes. Those were her jams, right? They always had like super duper, like, but I didn't want to have to like deal with having to make a appointment at the dealership, like because Mercedes and BMWs, you have to get them. Anything happens, you have to go to them. I just couldn't go to my mechanic, and it's always going to cost you more money.
Always.
So that was always my deal. You know what I'm saying, with that kind of stuff. So I've never cared for cars. My thing is, if I'm going to pay on it for 5 years, can I keep it another 5 years with a free car note? You see, like not free car note, but car note free.
Yeah.
So it needs to survive another 5 because I'm going to drive it for 5 because I paid on it for 5.
Honda and Toyota's the way to go. That's it.
So that's the reason why, like I seriously am considering a minivan. Like
We talked about this. I think it's a great idea.
I really want a minivan, and I just don't know. Like, I'm embarrassed for Pete more so, not myself. I don't give a fuck.
He cares about cars less than you do.
I know,
think.
but I feel like if you see Chingo coming out of a minivan,
fucking turn into a tamale van during the holidays.
Oh my god, I cannot imagine somebody just. Bro, are you driving a minivan? Like, you really drive a minivan? Yeah. Like, I don't know. He says he doesn't care. He's like, I don't give a fuck. He's like, but I care for him. That's the reason why, like, I've always
pulling up to the comedy club for an open mic in his van.
That's why I've always kept a Honda and a nicer car.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, totally.
Because I always felt like he can't ride.
For occasions.
Yeah.
Occasions.
Like, I don't care about me. I don't care if I get seen in my Honda at all.
Yeah.
Seriously. I'm like, bitch, that bitch is paid off. What about yours?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
40 miles with a gallon.
Shit, hell yeah. So like before this my car would fill up with $16 before this
wish.
madness. Like, and we're talking about 2015 though. Like,
Yeah, which isn't that long ago. It was 5-6 years ago.
yeah,
right?
even a couple of years ago, it took maybe 30 at the most.
Here's a question: do you ever let it get to empty, or when do you fill up?
Yes,
You do.
I did. Let me tell you, and
Not a
this is
good
why.
idea.
No, that wasn't me.
You know better than that.
No,
What do you
that
mean
wasn't me. My husband loves to just let the cars almost get to E, and then he'll tell you, "Oh yeah,
Just
I need
last
to put
week
gas."
on the way from San Antonio, he was like, "Shit, I gotta stop." I even said on the podcast, "Why are you this way?" I said, "Why are you this way?"
We got into a little quarrel because of this.
Oh, excuse me, what?
Okay, because I'm always like, man, bro, I can't keep up with the cars and like everything else. Like, I should not know more about cars than you. Like, there's just not, you know. But I get it if you've never had to worry about these things because you've always like.
But to think you never thought, let me look up a YouTube video. I was like, what is this maybe? Or what does that sound?
I got into the Honda that day and I said, I can't believe you went on a road trip to San Antonio and Austin with the Honda this way. So when you get back, you have got to get an alignment. You need to get the brakes done, and you might want to check the front two tires when you get the alignment and ask them, because I'm almost sure they're almost ready to get replaced. I think the back still look good. You got to remember. So when my dad used to handle this for me, right? So if I'd tell my dad, hey dad, I hear this noise in the car, right? Or whatever. Okay, bring it to your grandma's. I'll check it out. And then it would be, I'd take my dad's truck. My dad would keep my vehicle. He would worry about it. And then when I would get it back, he would explain. So this is what happened, and that's why it was making the noise. So anytime you hear it, you need to make sure blah, 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 right? So even though he fixed it, he always made sure to explain, because should it happen again, you needed to know what to do next. Do you see what I'm saying? When my dad passed away, it really was no one to help me. But thankfully, he had showed me or told me, you know, this is what happens. This is what blah, blah, blah. To where I could change my tire out in my Eclipse, but I could never do it in my Jeep. I was really always scared. I don't know why. Mm-hmm. I was like terrified of that fucking Jeep, like to get it, like this bitch is going to fall on me fucked, you know? So that's when I finally just started paying the extra money for roadside assistance. It was only when my dad passed away. I didn't even have it before because I knew my dad was who I was going to call. That was my roadside assistance, you know? And so it's crazy because I'll be driving sometimes. I'm like, hey, you don't hear that noise? It's like, what noise? I'm like, oh my God, it's like, what is this rattle? Like something's happening. Like, okay, the Honda needs to go get checked. You know what I'm saying? Like, go take to Mario Brothers. I know that's not the name of it, but
Mario Brothers.
They've got the Mario Brothers painted outside, so we call it Mario Brothers. And I can't think of what it's called.
Pet Boys?
It's like A&E. No. It's a local.
Oh, okay.
No. I keep it local, bro. I don't go to them.
Well, I don't know.
But anyway, yeah. So check this out. I'm in the Honda.
Oh yeah, we started talking about gas.
Okay.
Right, uh-huh.
I always try to make sure that right as it's getting to maybe like not even quarter.
Yeah.
I fill up. Right?
For sure.
Because why? For what? Why wait until it's completely and then I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
I gotta find GPS. You know,
Yep.
I don't like that. That's annoying to me. I already hate putting gas as it is, you know?
Totally.
So
Listen, Don.
I get in the Honda and I said, it never fails. It needs gas, right? And so I'm like, all right, whatever. So I get here. I'm feeling so complete, right? I finished the merch room. Now it's time for me to go pick up. So it was Thursday because I had to go pick up Penny now from school. And then I pick her up, and I remember seeing the gas light turn on. I'm like, okay, I got to get gas now. But I'm so in like, she's got to hurry up because now we have to hurry up and get her ready to go to gymnastics. So hurry up, right? Bro, next thing you know, I'm turning left to get into the neighborhood behind my house. It says 0 miles. I'm shitting bricks. Like I literally am touching cotton, bro. I call him and I'm like, oh my God. I said, we are going to get stuck here with no gas. I'm like, because I saw the light. I totally blanked out. And, I was focused on the next thing.
Yeah.
He goes, don't worry about it. It happens. And I'm like thinking, okay, I'm not going to start arguing. No, it does not happen. Does that make sense? Like I wanted to say, no, it does not happen.
My G, it does not happen.
And but I know that he was just trying to like calm me down because I know I had to have sounded like super duper panicked, right? But we have a thing full of gas in the garage for our for our
archaic gas mower or what?
No, for our generator. Oh. And so I said, I make it inside. I'm like telling Penny, oh my God, Penny, we might have to push the car. And she's like, what? And so she's like so confused, right? So now I'm in the gate and I'm like, hurry up, you damn gate, hurry up, open. I literally pull up into my house. I made it to the driveway, Rob, with my poor Honda on 0 miles. And all I kept saying was, seriously, as I was filling it up with the thing, I said, we call her Cece. And I said, I'm so sorry, Cece. I would never do this to you. You know that. I'm like, this was not me. I'm going to go get you checked. By the way, it's got an expired sticker.
Bro, you said you like this vehicle. What are you doing to it?
Because I just want it to be his responsibility. I don't want it to be on me. Like, I just don't. There's got to be something he can take over to where I don't want to be responsible for, It's going
to stir this pot further. I don't even like for Dawn to get gas. If I'll take her car to go to the gas station to get gas and bring it back.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because.
Oh, just
because.
Oh, no. I handle that.
Yeah, I mean,
I handle that too.
Unless she's out of town, like she's driving, she's already, obviously that's a different thing. But if we're in town, like you got to go like on a road trip, get the kids, visit your parents, whatever. Like, let me go fill up, and then I'll bring it back, and then you can go.
Yeah, well, this is me every time. Like we're gonna go on a road trip. I'm like, okay, you're gonna have to go check the oil. I said, check the tires. Let's detail it, and then fill up the tank. That's the three the rules of taking it on the road. Like I said, I can't be mad at him because if it's something that you were never had to do, like
you're never exposed to it.
You're never exposed to it. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But like because
it's fun to poke fun at.
I was such an independent person before, right? Like there was no one taking care of me. I had to take care of everything myself.
So when did you take over for it if your dad always did it? Like, how did you let me rephrase that. Did you choose to take over with it when you were
No, I had to. My dad passed away. Yeah. There was no one now to help me out. Even my ex was not that great with cars.
Really?
I had to call his dad if something happened. Hey, hey, Wallace. So I think they said this at the mechanic. Is it true? Am I getting like screwed over? What's happening? Yeah. It's like, okay, well, that sounds about right. He told me, all right. He goes, no, you need to tell them it's cool. I'd go back. And that's how I started learning. Like,
that's good.
How do you go say no? Well, you know what? That's not what it is. And then that's when I kind of really YouTube started like, YouTube was around. When did YouTube come? 05? Okay. So we're talking now about like maybe 2000 and I don't know, like 12, that's kind of whenever I really started. I wasn't into YouTube. Like I'd watch YouTube for music.
You're still not.
I'm just not. I have to find a reason to want to watch it. Like I'll watch like things I want to watch on there. Like I just don't.
You think that's a woman thing, like a girl and guy thing? Because Dawn also, like, she literally isn't even signed into her YouTube app on her phone.
I mean, I pay for no commercials.
Well, that's more than she's ever done.
Yeah, I don't do the commercials. I can't stand it. I already know if we're watching something. I'm like, who signed into the wrong account? Like if we're watching, I'm like,
why watching a Samsung commercial?
Why am I watching? Exactly. I skip that shit. I don't like it. I hate the commercials. So I pay. I do have the premium YouTube.
YouTube Red, I think, is it?
Something like that. I think it's premium. Totally.
Yeah.
And also you're able to rent the movies without having to like do all this stuff. So you can rent movies on there. The one I do want to sign up for is the YouTube TV though, like the actual TV part of it.
It's
like
great.
I do want to sign up for that. But yeah, I do YouTube for this. Like, okay, let's just say, okay, so when I knew that I wanted to do the kitchen, right? Let me go watch to see like if anybody's done the stick and peel backsplash, then I'll go down a rabbit hole of that. When I was like really trying to learn about this transgender thing, right? Detransition, I go down that rabbit hole. So like for me, there has to be
a search engine. It's a great search engine.
For sure. And so for me, that's when I started doing it. So I used to like look up things about cars. If you hear this noise, blah, blah, blah. So then that's kind of how I started learning. And that's how I learned like the alternator. And this is how you do like if, the cables, like to connect them whenever, but I was always scared of that. Till this day, I'm kind of scared of it. Like to give somebody a jump.
Yeah.
If somebody asks me, I usually say no. Because I'm so scared. I'm like, yeah, this motherfucker doesn't know what he's doing. And we're going to blow up both of our cars.
You got to carry a battery pack in the back.
I don't need it. It's other people that ask. I haven't had, even though I
jumped the Honda one time here.
Yeah, because why?
Because Chingo didn't go change it when he needed to.
Listen, my husband is good at a lot of things.
A ton of things.
A lot of things.
Some might say most things.
I'm going to say most things. He is. I'm not going to say this just because he's my husband. My husband's very impressive, like in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, he's very impressive.
Go on.
But there's just certain things he's not good at, right? Which is like he's definitely not handy, but he's
getting there. He's becoming a handyman.
Bro, I've been with him for 8 years. And the last couple of years, he's improved.
Seeming like a real Herrera these days.
I mean, he's really, I'll tell him like, okay, you know what I'm saying? I see you, know?
I'm proud of you. Yeah, would you say you're saying I'm proud of you?
I'll tell him, I'm so proud of you. I can't believe you figured that out on your own.
Do you tell him maybe thank you?
Yes. Oh my God. I thought about this whole situation, Rob, with about the thanking for not cheating thing. What was I watching? It was funny. I was watching the Kardashians, right? Because for some reason, only when I fold clothes, I like to watch them, right? And my sister had signed out, or I guess she was signed out of her Hulu on my TV. And I was like, hey, can I sign back in? Like, I can't watch this. What's your password? And Penny was in my room on her iPad, right? And so they're crying. So, you know what's so fucked up is that we're so evil that we're so quick to judge people, right? Because just on social media and stuff.
Humans in general, you mean?
Yes. Yeah. Because when Chloe had announced that a surrogate was pregnant from her and Tristan, and they're like, look at her. Look at her. Why would she get pregnant? Why would she have another baby from that fucking idiot? Everybody was judging her. Well, here's the thing. I finally watched the fucking Kardashian episodes. So this mother effer, that's when I thought about, okay, I probably should. Okay, this is a reason why you should thank your husband, because there's some fucked up individuals out there.
Go on.
He is so messed up, this guy. He knew already that girl was kind of the other girl that he got pregnant. Mm-hmm. He got her for real pregnant. She couldn't get pregnant again. She's having issues, so that's why they went to surrogate. Okay. So he knew about this girl possibly being pregnant because they had already filed something against him. He had kept it hush hush. Okay. They went together to make this decision to transfer these eggs over to the surrogate together. All along, he's known this girl is filing some shit on him because he got her pregnant and went over there and acted like wasn't nothing happening. So can you imagine? One, she found out he cheated while she the reason she gave birth like 2 weeks before, which is still fine, right? But she wasn't due, was the stress from finding out. It caused her to go into labor, that he cheated and got some girl pregnant. Okay? So that's how the first baby, okay? They try to get past it, right? They were trying to be cool. They were trying to make it work as a family. This fucker, I swear on TV, if you watch any of these episodes, ladies, if y'all are watching this, if you watch this garbage that I was watching, because it's garbage. We all know that. We don't need anybody to tell me, why do you watch this? He is really trying to make it seem like he's going to make it work. Like he's a changed person. Even the family's like, well, he seems different. Like no one's like, and they're so good at not bashing each other's husbands or exes. Those little girls, man, I would love to be a fly on the wall behind closed doors when there's no fucking cameras. Like, fuck him. And I can't imagine they're always like, well, he's the father of my niece and nephew. I can't say nothing bad about him.
It'd be hard to be a fly on the wall in their fucking lair in hell.
But listen. So he knew, and this poor girl this whole time didn't know. And here she was. He had proposed to her. She turned it down. She said, we're not ready for that. She's like, we've decided.
The girl turned.
No. Chloe.
Okay.
She's like, let's continue to work on our relationship. They were going to therapy. They were actually like doing all this stuff, right? That's how they were able to proceed to have another baby, because she was obviously, I guess, her eggs. I don't know what was up with the eggs, where you store them. I don't really know, to be honest with you. I must have missed something along the way, maybe the previous season. I don't know. And she finds out that he got her pregnant. Now she's dealing with that. And even it's already kind of, she says it's already kind of different because you're not feeling the baby growing in you. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else is. So when they deliver, because they show this, I didn't know this, they immediately give her the baby. So person having baby doesn't, you just get cleaned up. Let's heal, baby, because you got to go. I don't know who you're going to loan your body to next, but you're done, And she's the one on the hospital bed doing the skin to skin and doing all that with the baby. Because it's technically her baby. Like it's their DNA. Yeah. Someone else is just carrying it for her. But I thought it was trippy. But anyway, that when I was watching that, I was like, okay, now I can see why someone would thank their husband for not cheating. Because if you get a fucking asshole like this, where do they, as a mother, Rob, if my son was doing this, I would sit his ass down and be like, bro, you need to get your shit clipped. Stop getting bitches pregnant.
Go ahead.
Like so you're basically in the NBA to pay child support. And I don't even know, like Chloe makes enough money, so I don't really even know if she's like, bro, I don't even need your little fucking child support money. I don't even know how that works, because I don't know, right? Like,
you think she probably has to waste her money though? She ain't trying to use her money.
I don't really think she cares. Like, there's nothing that he can do that she can't already do for her child. Do you see what I'm saying? But like the other girl, which we don't know about, some girl he met randomly, right? Like, I can see where that'd be like, oh,
for sure.
Yeah, that's why we filing this boo-boo, because we got to go to court because I need that paper.
That's most girls' jobs, is trying to get that to happen.
No comment?
Here, before we go, I want to play this video. Did I send you the 20% video of that chick on Instagram? Did I send it to you with the little, it's like the sound was like 20, life is, putting 20% into life, whatever. Okay, no, good. I'll send it, or I'm going to play it right now. Because I thought about you and Dawn, and I sent it to her, but I didn't send it to you, I don't think. Oh, Jesus. Is it playing or not playing? It's not playing.
Is her name Valentina?
It is. Do you know who it is?
No.
Oh. Let me switch the audio real quick because I have it set to something else. Let's refresh this hoe.
It's important to do everything every day, not just in your training and your nutrition, but at your job, in your relationships, everything you do in the day at 100%. If you're not going to live at 100%, why live? Why are we going at 20%? What do we gain with that? How do we grow and feel that we're evolving if we're going at a mediocre pace?
Exactly.
I didn't get to this point in my life giving it 20%. No. Life is all or nothing. And if you do nothing less than 100%, you will yield nothing. Ask yourself what you want from life. What reality do you want to live in? You are the only person who is creating your reality, and you are the only person who is living with yourself. Ask yourself, when you do something that makes you feel uncomfortable, something out of your comfort zone, is it because you're going about life at 20%? It's important to do.
Yeah, I don't know who she is, but she came across my feed. The sound came across my feed. She's some athlete, I believe. Valentina Lecu.
I can't see that far, but I think I know the first name, but I can't see Leo.
Lequ.
Oh,
EUX. But her captions were in Spanish, so I figured she's some kind of maybe. Oh, this is funny too. I saw this one. So it's like definitely cutting this out, and like they're all just different judgments of like she's trying to take photos or whatever.
Oh well.
And it's
Damn,
just like
I miss my stomach being like that, bro. Oh my gosh.
But she criticizes the whole caption's fucking long. But after I saw that 20% one, I saw this, and it's just her. It's just like no matter what it is, it's criticisms, all the time of yourself, your biggest critic kind of thing. But anyway,
it's crazy because I was we were kind of talking about something. Oh, I was talking about. I think I told my aunt, I was like, oh my God, I finally did a photo shoot this past. Oh, I did a photo shoot, guys, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny. Issa said, how do you keep track? Which I think I was surprised she asked me that because she's so damn organized. She's way more organized than me. I mean, she is like, she dotted that I 2 times. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how, she's like, how do you know every single item that needs to be photographed? Like, she's like, I assume you like, I was like, well, yeah, I make a spreadsheet first and then I kind of memorize it. It's really weird. Memorizing for me happened more so whenever I became, it's like a weird thing that turned on in my brain when I became an interpreter, because you have to remember so much information when you're interpreting. You literally are having to take it in, put it out, take it in, put it out, So remembering what someone says. And then if you kind of lagged, if you're like an interpreter that lags, so you wait to receive the information and then you put it out and that person continues to talk. And so you're always behind. I'm not those interpreters. I can't do it. That's too much, bro. I ain't got that much space in my brain. But she asked me that and I said, that's weird. I never even thought about it either. How do I know all the stuff, all my inventory? That is a good question. I was like, man, that is kind of weird. I do know all my inventory.
I'll have to circle back. I don't know. I just know.
I did. I told her that. It's like, I actually don't know. She goes, I assume you have a spreadsheet. I was like, I do, but I don't even, like, the spreadsheet's right there. I kid you not.
So you don't completely fill it out. You just kind of started it as a template, or?
No, it's there. It's highlighted. I mean, I use it, but that highlighted is for me to know, like, okay, it's been put up. It's at the Hive. Like, I already know, like, there's notes from there, but then that's it. Like, I know after that. Is that not weird?
Yeah.
Like, I do this. I don't know.
Maybe it's a superpower you just didn't realize you had.
I didn't until she asked me, how do you keep track of it? I'm like, well, I do put it in a spreadsheet. It's kept in a spreadsheet. And this helps me too. Like, I do have a notes section. I go back and put, like, this was a good seller. Don't bring this back. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of high. I determine whether I'm going to bring something back or not, but I was telling her I was telling my aunt, like, how I hate that if it's not me photographing in the item, I have a really hard time selling it. Like, I really thought my cousin taking the pictures for this last photo shoot that I did, which was the smiley face collection, right? I was like, oh, my cousin's super cute. Like, how is this not going to sell? Sex sells.
Yeah,
type of thing. Like, she's so cute. I'm not trying to sexually expose but you see what I'm saying? Like, her body is cute. She's pretty. I mean, she looks super damn cute. I mean, she used to model. So, like,
it's funny you have to get that caveat these days.
What?
Like, I'm not trying to, like, sexually, like, exploit but also.
But because, people already think, like, so I just thought it was kind of like, oh, for sure, I'm going to get a different audience, like a younger audience. Maybe now it's like the moms are going to show this to their daughters and it's going to be like, now that's maybe a new audience that I can get. That was my I guess, marketing way of thinking. Yeah. If it's not me in the picture, you guys just don't like it. I'm just going to be honest with you. Maybe y'all can leave a comment below and tell me why you don't like it if it's not me wearing the item. So anyway, because I felt that I at least dropped 9.4 pounds, right? Didn't get to the 15 by my birthday, but that's okay, right? I did 9.4, and I just figured I still have to the end of the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I already have the athletic collection ready to go, right? And we were going to photograph it that same day that I photographed all the other new stuff that I got, right? But then I thought to myself, wow, you're really, because these pictures that I just took are going to be, some will be for October. I'm already set for November. The athletic collection was to be for December. So I was going to be way ahead for merch. All the new pictures that I took with Ilse were going to be more of lifestyle for my personal, because I'd been slacking so much on my personal page, right? So this is where I was like, fuck yeah, I'm so ahead. I was feeling good, like, the merch room, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then it was like, it was so hot. I had this much motivation to do it because these are like sweater tops. It's like the bigger neck, right? Mm-hmm. But they're not so hot to where we can't wear them in Houston. Does that make sense? So it's kind of one of those where it's like, oh, I'll walk in the gym with it, but I can take it off.
Like next week is a high of 67.
Okay, so see,
That'd be perfect weather for that kind of stuff.
Well, when that happens, right? So we're doing that photo shoot at the end of the month. I said, let's just do it at the end of the month. And I thought to myself, yes, that gives me more time to try to lose these next couple of pounds that I didn't get to lose, right? So I was like, oh yeah, even better. I told her, I'm like, even better. And when she showed me the pictures, right, I'm so like, I think we all do this, right? We're all critical of ourselves. I don't need nobody to tell me. I always say this. I don't need nobody to tell me what my flaws are. I completely know them physically, and I know them in other ways too, what my flaws are. Like, so whenever if somebody were to say something like, damn, her pouch. Yeah, I fucking know, bitch. Like, yeah, I need you to point it out. Like, it's there. Part of it is skin, and I fucking hate it. But I'm not where I want to be yet, so I can't go get the surgery. Although my aunt said, well, then let them just remove whatever you haven't dropped then, and then you solve the problem. Because I said, man, because I want to go see, when I go get the Botox done, that's also the same place where I'd like to get a consultation for the skin removal, right? And but I saw this other doctor who my eyelash tech told me about, who is so good and does already ab sketching, bro. So I was like,
ab sketching,
sir.
Tell me more.
Exactly. When she told me that, she's like, you've never heard of him? I was like, no. When you're not into those things, how do you know?
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
I mean,
you don't know what you don't know.
I don't exactly. So I mean, I kind of, but I mean, I only see what's on the internet, and that's it, right? There's nothing more that I see from there. So it's kind of like she tells me, yeah. And so for me, anybody who shows me a horrible picture of someone and then they go get plastic surgery and they look like the bomb, well, of course, you're going to think any doctor's good, because, I mean, if you saw her before and after. So she starts telling me about the marble belly button. So you have to make sure that, so check this, I'm telling you, I'm telling y'all, I want my eyelash girl to come on here, not to talk about her eyelash techniques, but seriously, she loves beauty so much. She could be a fucking surgeon, bro. Like, she knows all the techniques, all the latest things that are out, things that you should and shouldn't do, how they should be done. No, that's why I told you, when she told me about the Botox, she's like, girl, don't worry about that. She goes, they can't fuck you up. Botox is a hard thing. The only thing that's going to happen is they can over freeze you, and then it's going to just dissolve. You're just not going to have an expression, and that's okay. It's just like, I mean, she goes, but the fillers, that's when she started explaining me about the fillers. They can fuck you up. You have to sleep a certain way. Otherwise, like, it can create a bolita. Like, exactly. So that's when she was like,
do you want to save the marble belly buttons for the Patreon episode?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, so we'll send them out.
All right, guys, if you're wondering why I was talking so much today, although they don't sponsor me, if they'd like to sponsor me, this is why. I think I talked more with this than I did it with my regular coffee. So Bustelo. Ooh, Bustelo. I don't know. You might not have my support anymore during the podcast. So this is pretty good. It's got 0 sugar, gluten-free. It's kosher. It's kosher.
Okay. In case you're a part of the podcast and you live that life. But to give coffee a praise, where can they watch and listen to Cafecito Time now?
So we now have a new podcast, guys. We used to do this live on Facebook. If you ever watched, my husband and I do Cafecito Time. We did this during the pandemic. That's how we kept in touch with everybody. We got a lot of hate on there, but then we got a lot of love also. You guys loved it so much that y'all kept asking, how come y'all don't do Cafecito Time anymore? So we decided to turn it into a podcast. It drops every Tuesday, right?
At noon.
At noon. But it also goes live on Chingo's Facebook as a premiere, correct?
On his Facebook page as a premiere?
Yes.
It has its own YouTube channel. I created a Cafecito Time YouTube channel.
Okay, got it. There you go, guys. So go on there, check it out. It's me and my husband just talking live, different shit. No, it's not going to be political, but it may have some political shit in there, but it's not that. It's just really a
Pop
couple talking about pop culture, talking about everyday life, kids, anything you can think of, it's going to be on there. So make sure you check it out. Make sure you subscribe there as well. And if you're a business, guys, and you're interested in sponsoring, whether it be Cafecito Time, Red Pill Tamales, or Her Lounge Podcast, please be sure to email us. You can email us at herloungepodcast@gmail.com. Or for Cafecito Time or Red Pills at Marisol@chingobling.com. So thank you guys so much for listening. I'll check you out Friday.